Sleep training at 5 months old. This video is to discuss all about sleep at this 5 month mark. This is a really common age that people start thinking about what they can do to support their little one's sleep. And it's also an age where lots of people will give you lots of well-meaning, but perhaps not the right advice for you and your family. So let's get straight into it. Why is sleep at 5 months such a common thing? Was common searched for thing and questions that we often get asked about. So at 5 months, you would have noticed that your little one's sleep has likely changed. Now, this will look different for every single family. Some newborns are really good sleepers and some struggle a little bit, but regardless, most little ones' sleep will have a bit of a shift and a bit of a change in dynamics between 4 and 5 months. Some people call this the 4-month regression, but the science behind this is actually quite interesting and explains why the sleep is changing. So around this age, our sleep cycles are maturing and development is carrying on. They're coming out of that 4th trimester and they are a lot more aware of what's going on around them. They are aware of their preferences a lot more and are starting to tune into what it is that they expect from you and what they want. These are all great things. Alongside that, our the actual development of our circadian rhythm is beginning to be a little bit more structured, as is the rhythm and pattern to their day. It's starting to get to a point where they are wanting things to be familiar and a bit more repeatable day on day. Now, this can be really exciting because it can mean that the unpredictability of newborn sleep can start to settle down and you can start having a bit more predictability to how your day is going to go. However, it does come with its sleep challenges. Quite often we will see an increase in night waking, an increase in feeds, shorter naps, difficulty settling, just increased fussiness. And this is all really typical behaviour for around that 4 to 5 month mark. The importance is that when we are trying to navigate how best to support our little one, that we are doing this in a gentle and responsive way, and we are not expecting our little ones to be able to sleep a solid 12 hours overnight, because it's just not going to happen, no matter what people may say is possible. Okay, so things that you might have seen or Googled or seen at 2 o'clock in the morning in a doom scroll. Some of the generic sleep training methods that you may see and may be tempted to try. The first one of these would be, we have to mention it, the cry it out method or the Ferber method. And I do want to put both of those into the same bracket for the sake of this video. So the cry it out method is very extreme. It does mean putting your child down, leaving the room and not returning. Whereas the Ferber method or timed interval check-in method is more where you put them down, leave the room, and then you will leave them for a designated time. That could be 2 minutes, it could be 5 minutes, it could be anything up to an hour, I have seen advised. And they are not the same, because the Ferber or the timed interval check-in, you do return to check on them, but you still have to leave the room and leave them upset. At this age, I don't agree with this method for most little ones. This is because before the age of 6 months, our little ones haven't gained the ability to understand object permanence, which means that when you leave the room, when you are out of sight, your baby thinks you're gone, completely gone. You have ceased to exist, which is why they can get so upset. So there is a difference between leaving your child when they are calm and settled and building that independence and building that sense of safety and security, knowing that you're going to come back, and leaving them if they are upset. And before the age of 6 months, it's generally not advisable to do so. So let's put a pin in those ones for now for this age. Another one that you might see quite often advised is the pick up, put down method. This is where your baby is upset, you pick them up, you get them calm in your arms, and then you place them back down, drowsy but awake. That very ambiguous term of drowsy but awake. Now, this can be a really good method for some children. And why I say some children I will come on to in just a moment, but it's a good one to try because you stay with your baby, you stay close by, and if they get upset, you do respond, and you respond quite quickly. This will be appropriate for lots of little ones, but not all. So if you have tried this and it hasn't worked, don't worry, you're not doing anything wrong. Another one that you may see recommended is the gradual retreat. So this is where you get to the stage where you can put your little one down in their sleep space and you gradually move away until you are further away in the room or perhaps out of the room, but your little one is calm throughout that phase and they know that you're there and you can respond either with physical touch or verbal reassurance whilst being in a close proximity to them. Now again, this one can be very, very good, but not for all children. Right, so why I say not for all children is because sleep is incredibly personal. Our little one's temperament traits are going to be becoming more evident at around the 5-month mark, perhaps before. And this has a huge impact on what methods are going to be appropriate for them, because a super alert baby may respond and get annoyed if you are constantly picking them up and putting them back down again. They may get angry at you because they are confused as to why you keep putting them down, whereas other children may be able to be picked up, consoled, put back down and drift peacefully off to sleep. Same for the gradual chair approach. Some little ones may be overstimulated with you being close by and in the room, and you may need to find a hybrid of something where you can comfort in the room and then leave the room instead. So recognising that every child is going to be different is vitally important when you're thinking about making some changes for your 5-month-old sleep. We also need to recognise developmental readiness. They're not already at the same pace. So if your friend has a baby the same age and they are adapting sleep, it does not mean that it is the right time for you and your little one. What we need to be making sure is that you are prepared to dedicate time and commitment to a gentle, tailored sleep plan, and then make sure that your little one is actually showing signs that they're ready for that more structured sleep. If they are still showing very young sleep patterns and newborn sleep patterns still, then there is nothing wrong with that. They will get there when they're ready. We also need to make sure that at all times we are following safe sleep guidance. This can always be found with the Lullaby Trust. If you do not know the Lullaby Trust, then please do check them out. They're an amazing charity. They do a lot of work to reduce SIDS and to raise awareness for safe sleep conditions. It's also very important that when we're thinking about sleep, we're not just focusing on the nighttime sleep. Daytime sleep has a huge impact on the nighttime sleep. So I've spoken to hundreds of parents who say, we want to sort the nights out, then we'll sort the days out. I hate to break it to you, but they are part and parcel, and you cannot really focus on just one. We need to look at their sleep as a whole picture. Now, if all of this makes sense and you're thinking, yes, I think that I'm ready, but I have no idea what I'm meant to be doing, then don't worry. At the Sleep Nanny, what we do is we tailor any advice to take all of these things into account. You will need a gentle and holistic approach for a little one who is younger. Now, some families will be happy to use these somewhat harsher methods as children get older. I don't ever recommend them, but it can work for some children, but I would not recommend it below 6 months at all. So if you want to be able to make small adjustable changes that are manageable for both you and your baby, that with the aim of teaching them that they can self-soothe and that you are always going to be there to keep them safe, happy and secure, then you are in the right place. Now, what's also very important is here at the Sleep Nanny, we believe in the ongoing support. There are millions of places you can go to get a generic sleep plan. I've just mentioned some of them that you will probably find and probably be tempted to try at some point. But unless that sleep plan has been tailored to you, looked at your parenting styles, your lifestyle, have you got any other kids, all of these different elements that can impact it, then it's very unlikely going to work. So we need to think about what support you need and also emotionally need and to be held accountable to. So that's what a sleep coach should do. So if you are looking for a sleep coach, then you can go absolutely anywhere. There are plenty of sleep coaches around the world, but if you wanted to work with me, then what you would be getting is that personalised deep dive, a tailored sleep plan, and then that ongoing compassionate support, but also that person who's going to hold you accountable and make sure that we are making progress. So That's what I would expect with a sort of 5-month-old. I would always be very honest with parents and say that there's no overnight miracle at this age. What we want to do is work slowly with our babies so that we are not causing them distress and that we are building a foundational base of healthy sleep where they feel safe, happy, responded to and secure, because ultimately that is what our children need to be able to thrive and be good sleepers long term. If you want any more advice on this or are really struggling with your 5-month-old, then please drop me an email or a comment and I will get back to you.